Good morning and welcome. Welcome to Thayer Academy. Welcome to, at least virtually, the Glover Building, which is the home of math, science, and computer science at Thayer Academy. As you may have read about in Thayer publications, Thayer has made a significant commitment to math, science, and computer science, especially over the last 5 years. We are currently standing in our new robotics and computer science facility, which was a $2 million renovation to this building, which opened up last year. We really wish there were more people in this building right now, but we will do what we can during this time. As Olivia and James touched on when they spoke before, the heart of Thayer is the small class sizes. There's a high level of interaction between our teachers and our students, and between the students working together. In math, science, and computer science, that is incredibly important to us. I wanted to take my time today to explain to you a little bit more about the math program and computer science here. What you see on the slide in front of you is, of course, the full math sequence at Thayer. You do not need to memorize this. You do not need to say, I know every part of this. What I want to do is just to give you an overview. All this information is available on our website as well and through admissions documents. But I wanted to give you a quick snapshot of what a math program would look like here. If you follow along horizontally in any of the rows, you would see sort of a standard sequence from one of our students. If you start in Algebra 1 in the 9th grade, many of those students will finish with some form of pre-calculus in the senior year. If you're starting in Algebra 2 in the 9th grade, you're going to finish in some form of calculus. This table is wonderful to give you lots of information about the different programs and classes that we have. But it's terrible for you to think that if you started there, that all of a sudden you're locked into a sequence the whole way. Please understand, for our students, they are moving up and down among different classes every single year. Honors to regular, fundamentals and up, down to fundamentals. It all depends on what people are looking at each moment. You should know that every single year we have 5 or 6 kids who sophomores who double up in math. They start in Algebra 1 as a freshman. They're doing tremendous work and they want to accelerate their program. We also have 5 or 6 students per summer who take our summer geometry course to accelerate their program. We even have happening now more and more kids who come in even over-accelerated. And those over-accelerated students will be on earlier programs. In our AP Calculus BC class this year, we currently have 2 sophomores and 2 juniors in that class. Excuse me, 2 sophomores and 3 juniors in that class. For those students who are super accelerated, we also have programs for them. And so what they have is they can continue on to multivariable calculus, which is a full college level course in multivariable calculus. For students who are trending more towards the humanities or major in sociology, psychology, economics, something of that flavor in college, we also have a full year AP statistics course. What I do need to tell you is that there for math in computer science, we're not looking for kids just to get there and be happy that they're at that level. As you will see, said many times to you, I think the phrase that John White has picked for us is results that count. You will see results that count all over the place. Well, in math, in science, and computer science, we think that that's very important. We are not just putting our kids into those classes just to show up. Over the last 10 years, 95% of our AP Calculus BC students have earned a 5 on that exam. 95%, so 19 out of every 20 students who have taken AP Calculus BC with us in the last 10 years have gotten a 5 on that exam. We want them to succeed at a high level. That's very important to us. As Olivia and James both touched on when they spoke, we also have a very robust programming sequence of courses here at Thayer. Our first year course, a full year course, is in C++. If students like that, they find interest in it, then they can move on to a full year course in AP Computer Science, which is taught in the Java language. We've found over the last 5, 6, 7 years that a lot of our students really want to continue in their study of computer science, whether to major in college or combine it with a minor or combine it with a science. So we have the data structures course. That course, again, is a full year course in advanced Java, which will set students up to essentially start midway through their sophomore year. Again, for us, we want the kids to be there, but we want them to succeed at a high level. Our kids are moving on to some very, very strong programs in computer science. Our last year students in data structures, of those students, currently for this year, they are freshmen at Stanford, Princeton, Amherst, there was 2 students at USC, one at Wake Forest, another one at Northeastern. These are the type of students who are taking 3 years of programming with us, and these are the type of schools that they are going to. I can say a lot of things about the program up there. I can say a lot of things about what we teach at this school. But what I will tell you from my heart, from my 29 years of experience teaching here, from my 25 years as department head for math and computer science, speaking for my wife and my 2 children. My son is a junior here at Thayer, and my daughter just started in 6th grade. What I will tell you is that we are a school that pushes kids to find great success. But we also have a soul. We support kids in ways that you can never imagine, whether it's in the play, on their sports team, in their math class, in their robotics class. If you were on campus in a regular year, you would see students working with faculty all the time. We push those kids, but we treat them like they're our own. There are some days that they just need love and an arm around the shoulder. And there's some days that they need a little bit of a kick in the you know what. But we want to provide that for them. Our kids are here all the time. We want to push them. We want to love them. And on the day they graduate, we want to know that they are massively prepared for college and that they are great people. That is what we want to do in math, computer science, science, arts, athletics, and in the Thayer community. That's who we are. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Don Donovan, who will tell you a little bit more about science and robotics here at Thayer. Don?
Thank you, Kevin. So hello, everybody. The first thing I'd like to tell you about our science program is it is not like any science program anywhere else. Where normally people would take maybe biology, chemistry, physics, or physics, chemistry, biology. Here, the first 2 years, students actually take integrated science. Integrated Science 1 for the 9th graders, Integrated Science 2 for the 10th graders. And the reason we're doing that is we want it to be relevant. We want to have our students look at science as more of its own set of skills, more of its own beast, if you want to say it that way, in terms of you're a scientist before you're a biologist, you're a scientist before you're a chemist. And actually, there are very few biologists and chemists in this world now. We have a lot more biochemists, we have a lot more bioinformatics, we have a lot more physical chemists, that you need the skills of a physicist to understand how tracking software works when you're studying sharks. So you think about a marine biologist has to understand the physics of the tracking software, also has to understand the chemistry of the blood work that they normally do when they're assaying the health of a shark. And so we took those ideas and we created the Integrated Science program, which deals with these themes. So our freshmen would learn things like patterns and change. They'll learn about the atomic model, they'll learn about the periodic table, the patterns that exist there, and how those things have changed as more and more evidence has come about. They'll learn about the cell cycle, but learn about it through the idea of cancer. There's not a single person I know of who has not been affected somehow by cancer, either in their family or with their friends. And to better understand how it works physically, how it works biologically, how it works chemically, I think is something that gives the kids a lot more relevance than just talking about mitosis. As our sophomores, they learn more about global climate change, the idea of biogeochemical cycles, the acidification of the oceans, and they understand the chemistry of it, the physics of it, the biology of it all together. And same thing with evolution. We think of evolution as a biological thing, but in reality, it's a chemical thing too, and it's very much a physical thing. And so we do all of those first with our students in 9th and 10th grade to give them a really good understanding of the relevance and the idea of what it is to truly be a scientist. Then in 11th and 12th grades, the kids can take really what they would like. If they enjoyed the physics of it more, they could take a physics class in 11th grade. Most of our 11th graders will take chemistry, biology, or physics, which we can now go much deeper into because they've already had the basics of it in 9th and 10th grade. We also have the APs available. Some students are going to be ready to take an AP Environmental Science, AP Chem, or AP Biology during their junior year. In physiology, all of those things in that right 2/3 of the screen that you see are available to both our 11th and our 12th graders. A wide range of things with some really, really smart people helping the kids along during that whole way. One of my favorite things that I teach actually is the independent summer research class. We have 3 extras. We have robotics, which is taught by an alum of there. We have collaborative design lab, which is our makerspace. And we have the ISR class, which is something that I helped start over 10 years ago. And we actually had surveyed recent graduates, and they said the only thing we were missing was the true lab experience, like what it is to be in a real lab as opposed to a high school lab. And so now I have students that are juniors. We research and see what's out there in terms of all the research that's around. We're blessed in that we have the Boston area right up the red line to us. And the kids will actually find a lab that they can research with. They can actually work in during the summer between their junior and senior year. So I've had kids learning nano and microfluidics at MIT. I've had students out on a boat tagging sharks with the Beneath the Waves group. I've had students working at Harvard doing some work with certain proteins that, to be quite honest, I'm having trouble understanding myself sometimes. This past year, because of COVID, we had some issues, but the kids were still able to find a lot of things that they could do as true research. I had a group of students that actually went out and they did a population survey of green crabs in the Cohasset Harbor, excuse me. And what they discovered was the green crabs are very prevalent and they're not dependent upon the temperature of the water at all. And then I had students doing algal research as well. We had students doing basically neural development in terms of newborns and 1 and 2-year-olds. And this was actually more computer research. They were researching other things that had been done, trying to create a good question to ask and look into themselves later. And that was done actually with help from a Thayer alum who started this group called Zwiftly. And these kids were talking to researchers in Milan, and they were talking to researchers in Chicago. So it was really, really neat opportunity, even though they couldn't visit the labs because of the pandemic, they still got quite a bit out of it. The ISR it's one of my favorite things because every year I learn just as much as the kids do, maybe a little bit less at times. I get some really, really, really impressive students that learn a lot. And what I see there is when we don't limit our kids, when we just say, how can I help you? How can I feed that fire? The things that they are able to do are absolutely tremendous, incredible. And one last thing that, Kevin, why don't you come over here, please, that we want to make sure that you understand. We talk about the diversity of opportunities here at Thayer. Please realize we know that Olivia and we know that James both said they were dancing in the plays. We were one of 6 faculty members in Hello Dolly last year. So here we are, okay? You can do just about anything you want. We will help you get there in any way, shape, or form.
But we will not dance for you, and we don't think that there are any recorded versions of Hello Dolly that exist.
I hope not. At least of our act. So
Perfect.
we're out of time, aren't we? Is that correct?
Yes, thank you guys so much. We are just hitting the time limit. So I just put in the chat both Don and Kevin's contact information. So if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to them. And then I also linked the landing page where you're going to head to right now to pick your next stop. So thank you for joining this session and enjoy the rest of the morning.